Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. We're live. It's our second show since we had several missed shows. My health is good. I'm feeling good. And here we are to help you navigate the minefield of finding an honest dealer to buy your car from, no matter whether it's used or new, expensive or middle or low priced. We're here to answer all of your questions. We were overwhelmed, really, last week. We'd been off for weeks and weeks because of my illness, and so we kept running reruns. I said, I kept thinking, and Nancy and I were talking all the time about, but when we go back, we're going to lose all of our listeners and our YouTubers and our Facebookers and all that because the show's been gone, and a lot of people get disappointed when they tune in a rerun. But guess what? Last week was dynamite, our first live show, and we had, we may have set a new record in callers. And, with me talking like that, I'm thinking about the way our luck goes, or my luck goes anyway. I hope we do it again. It's important. We have various ways you can access. There's a lot of people stream us on YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, and facebook.com/Earl on Cars. So it's almost become the major source of people absorbing our show, and that's visually and with the audio. But I get worried because we love our callers. The people that have been with us for years. A lot of people aren't into streaming, and particularly older people like me. And so you prefer to have your radio as radio, and you listen to it. And a talk show used to be a big, big thing. And there's not a whole lot of talk shows around now, radio talk shows. So we offer something that's become unique because of our technology in the 21st century. I'm going to give this number out probably too many times, but I don't really mean that. You can't really give it out too many times when you figure we're on the air for 2 hours. That's a long time to listen to anything. And we 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. in the morning until 10 a.m. in the morning, of course. And if you're listening for 15 or 20 minutes, we have just one chance at you, maybe to call and give us your question or advice, or suggestions, whatever. So our call-in number, please write this down because I know you're not going to call me right now, but write it down because you may come back into the kitchen or wherever you got the radio going, in the car, and call us at 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. I look at that telephone number as I read it out, and the 960 was the original, what do you call them, call letters, call numbers for the radio station 20 some odd years ago when we started this show. And Nancy Stewart, my co-host, and I started the show with a little company called Seaview Radio. They sold it out, exchanged hands a couple times, and we used to do the show on Thursdays for half an hour. And it was scary because radio was radio back then, and we had a couple shows where nobody called. So we really appreciate you. So don't get mad at me when I give you this number out. Nancy will be doing the same thing. 877-960-9960. And we have a text number, which is 772-497-6530. And of course, we've got our basic website. And that's not too high-tech for most of us today. It's earloncars.com. And it's kind of like the hub of the wheel, earloncars.com. That's where we archive our mystery shopping reports. That's where we go in every week and pretend to buy a car and tell you what really happened in the buying experience. We air that at the end of the show. So we've got those archived. We got my blog archived. So if you go to earloncars.com, www.earloncars.com, you virtually have everything that we've ever done. I mean, we're from back 20 some odd years ago to today. And we also have a list of dealers that we recommend, car dealers, and you can check that, and you'll find out the ones we say don't buy from. So we do that, and I mention that at some length because it's no one else I know that does it. I mean, it's just not done on the air anymore, where you name a business and you name the salespeople and you name the managers. I mean, you tell everything about the car dealership, and if they treated you right, we give them some good grades. We ask you to vote on the show, and then we post it. So I'm surprised that other people don't copy this, but they don't. I am going to turn the mic over to Nancy Stewart, my co-host, co-founder of the show, and she is a very special person. First of all, she's a female. Is that redundant? She's a female, and she has seen the light long before a lot of other people saw the light, and she has brought the female population that we are broadcasting to, videoing to, she's brought them into active participation with the show by calling the show. So she's going to talk about a special offer for you new female listeners out there. Right now, it's about 50-50. When we started out, it was 0 female callers, all male callers. So I hereby turn the microphone over to my lovely wife, Nancy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're so happy to be here, our second week after a 2-month hiatus, I believe it was. We have a whole lot to get to. And in the news is Amazon again, and Amazon aims to transform automotive retail, and they have a young lady here that's in charge, and this is going to be quite a journey. Her name is Fan Jin, and she's the director and general manager of Amazon. So we have a whole lot of information to share with you on that level. Also, we have our Dog of the Week. We haven't had one for a while, but Muffin is back. You may remember Muffin, but he's been over at Big Dog Ranch for a while, and he's about 47 pounds. He's a terrier mix, and he's a cutie pie. We have a nice video for you to take a look at later on in the show. Mystery Shopping Report, as usual. Another great Mystery Shopping Report. That number here to reach us is 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymous feedback. We love hearing from you. Anonymous feedback, text messages, and YouTube. And Rick and Stu do a great job at that. You'll hear from them later on in the show. But as Earl mentioned earlier, for the ladies, $50. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. So give us a call toll free. Help me build this platform here for the female audience. Sometimes we feel left out, but recently, we've really had a lot of lady callers, and it's been quite refreshing that they're in on the show, and they're looking for information. In a lot of cases, they can share something with us that we're unaware of. 877-960-9960. And again, 772-497-6530. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Shame on me, I forgot to mention probably the star of the show. It's called Earl on Cars, but we found out we get more calls from people that are puzzled over the driving of their car, meaning the high-tech stuff that's going on now, or some of the old tech. A lot of do-it-yourselfers. I'm always surprised. So questions are called in about the operation of your car, and Rick Kearney, our certified diagnostic master technician, I think if we went back and counted up the contacts, most of them would be from Rick. It ought to be Rick Kearney on cars instead of Earl on cars. But if you have If you have a Rick shaking his head now, he says, "Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me." But no, he volunteers to come in on the show, and just started out as and it never occurred to me that more people were. It should have occurred to me when I think back on it. I mean, the people that listen to the show are people that own cars, and people keep their cars for 6 or 7 years now, and so most of the people that accidentally dialed us on the radio or YouTube probably have no intent of buying a car, but the chances are they got a little problem or maybe a big problem with the car. So Rick Kearney, certified diagnostic master technicians. That's kind of like having your PhD in, well, they call him Dr. Kearney, but you won't find very much that he can't help you with instead of taking it to the car dealer and being taken advantage of, or independent mechanic that either maybe he's not trying to take advantage of it, but he just doesn't have the wherewithal, the education, the knowledge. It's very difficult to diagnose a car problem. Even a good mechanic has difficulty. Oftentimes, we have to bring in the technicians from the factories. I mean, these are really high tech people. By the way, if you're new to the show, we are a Toyota dealership. We have a Toyota dealership in North Palm Beach, and I say that occasionally not because I want you to know that we're a Toyota dealership because we want to sell you a car, but we're telling you we're not trying to sell you a car. We want to be honest and transparent. So if you know up front that we are a Toyota dealership, and we've been one, I've been in, I started that dealership in 1975. So we're just trying to help all car buyers, and we happen to have a car dealership, which gives us an inside look at what's going on. And Rick can answer your question, give you some advice about maintenance or repairs. What else? One thing I would particularly like to ask you to do this morning is let us know if any people have had an experience in dealing with Amazon. There's a lot of things going on now with Amazon, and they have opened it up to all Hyundai dealers in all 48 states. I almost said 50 states. Alaska and Hawaii, I guess, they didn't get the deal. I don't know why, but 48 states. And it is a seamless, totally safe buying procedure. And cars are being sold now in all 48 states. And Amazon sets the price. And the delivery is through the dealership. And it's a very interesting concept, which I think could cure all the ails that that we argue about and talk about on this show every week. So again, give us a call at 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Every now and then we get a doozy, and I love people who can advise, criticize, praise, whatever, when they know they can't be identified. That's the reason police departments have, secret, you won't be identified if you report the crime kind of a thing. And so that's what we do. We won't identify you unless you want us to, but it's just YourAnonymousFeedback.com, just the way it sounds, www.YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Okay, well, I'm talked out. I've got my, Nancy's got her hand up in the air.
It should be interesting to see how many dealers partner up with Amazon.
Yeah.
After they see the journey with Hyundai and Genesis and Kia, I believe.
Yeah. Kia Genesis haven't signed up yet, but we think they're going to be signing up very quickly. Right now, any Hyundai dealer is invited to sign up in any of the 48 states. So.
Exactly. Our number here is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Now back to the recovering car.
Let's go to Rick. He hasn't said a word, and Nancy and I, or mainly me, have been doing the battling. But Rick, what's interesting out there in the world of I can't figure out how to do this on my car. The 2025 models, every year there's a quantum leap in technology. So what are the problems that people can anticipate?
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's just follow our little tradition here. We'll start right off with the text from Anne Marie.
Oh,
Every week she has some really great questions and stories for us. So we're going to start right off with her.
Yeah, we really look forward to hearing from her. Good morning, Anne-Marie, and thank you so much every week for your texts.
And she says, "Good morning. Computer chips were in short supply during and after the pandemic. Consequently, many people only received one set of keys or key fobs when they bought their cars. This prompts the following questions. Since you're a Toyota dealer and can't really speak for other brands, do Toyotas come with one or two sets of keys or key fobs now?" Well, Toyota's still trying to get two sets of keys or two fobs for every new car, and they're going back and they're catching up with all the folks that only got one key, and they're sending out reminders to folks, hey, these are now coming in, we're getting them in stock, and setting up appointments with folks to come in and get their new keys programmed so they have that second key. And I'm pretty certain all the other manufacturers are doing the same thing. They're all trying to get caught up from this. It's a long road, but it's coming along. And she said her second question, what is the cost of a replacement key fob through a Toyota dealership? Well, now most of you know, I'm sure that, a lot of new cars are what we call a push to start. So you've got that little key fob that's just a simple box. And these, depending upon the model of car, the make of the car, can range anywhere from about $75 to as much as $200 for some of the more luxury cars. And for some of those fancy cars, the fancy European cars, they can be $300 or $400. They're quite expensive for some of them. And most of them now are very easily programmed at the dealership. It only takes a few minutes, and usually it is restricted to the dealer that you have to have it programmed there. And the reason for that is it's a security thing, folks, because a lot of you will find out when you get that second key and it gets programmed, every time you get in your car for like the next week and a half to 2 weeks, you'll see a message pop up on the dash that says, new key has been programmed. And the reason for that is, say you go somewhere and you want to use valet parking, and somebody nefarious gets hold of that key while they're nearby, or maybe that key is just close enough to your car that they can program it. They'll program a fake key to work your car. And the next time they find your car, which it can be easily done, they now have a way to access and steal your car. So that's why when that message pops up, it's simply telling you, hey, a new key was programmed in, but usually within a week and a half or so, that message will vanish.
Hey, Rick, just to jump in there quickly, there are a lot of other sources to buy a programmable key fob, and I just went to ChatGPT. Websites like Amazon offer a wide selection of key fobs, so you can go to Amazon, and also programming services. Ace Hardware is an example. Auto parts stores like Napa and APA Parts, Auto Parts. There are a lot of specialized vendors out there. So before you end up paying $300 or $400 for a programming service, or even for or also with additional charge for the fob itself, shop it online, and you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people out there that get you a bargain on those.
Yep. And the way those actually work is the key that you have is programmed to your car. It has its own code that will talk to your car. And when you get a new key, it has its own code and it will talk to your car. But what they do with those aftermarket ones is they actually program it to duplicate the code that you have on one fob. So now you have two fobs that are kind of like identical twins. Bear in mind, though, make sure you check the quality. Check the reviews on those when you do buy them, because some of them are not the best quality. Make sure you at least get one that you know is going to work properly. So check the reviews.
That's one of the reasons
be
I
sure
like
you're good
Amazon
on it.
so much, because if they do send you a key fob that doesn't do what it says when you bought it, you have an unconditional return. So Amazon is going to give you the pricing, and they also have the unconditional return. I'm basically waiting for the day that Amazon takes over all retailing in the world. They're into cars now, and they sell virtually everything you can buy from a walk-in store, which is not good news for a lot of the smaller businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So now I've got a interesting little news article sent to us by a fellow called Deck in Boca Raton.
Tech?
Deck, D-E-C-K.
Oh, unusual name.
Yeah. And this one is, I mean, it's a futuristic thing that, well, I got to say, this will be interesting if it comes out. Apparently, Mercedes-Benz is experimenting with solar paint. In other words, the paint that they put on the car is actually going to be reactive to solar light from the sun and will actually be able to somehow hook up to help charge the car. And actually give electricity from the sun while you're driving along, or even while it's parked in your parking lot. Now, of course, folks with a garage, it'd be a little more difficult, but hey, that is some pretty interesting new tech. Granted, it's beginning stage right now, but just think about the day when you don't have to charge your car up anymore. You don't have to buy fuel anymore. It's just automatically getting free energy from the sun. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, Donovan and Johnny Z. Fradley, they're talking on YouTube here about a little bit about key fobs here. And Donovan mentioned one of the newer technologies that's coming is that your phone can be a key as well, your cell phone. And this is actually in place with a lot of the higher end cars are now allowing this. What happens is you can actually send an electronic key for your car to someone else's phone. So say you're out of town and somebody wants to come and borrow your car, and you authorize them, you can send them a signal to their phone, so their phone can then become the key to unlock your car and authorize them to drive your car without even having that mechanical key fob in their possession.
Let's back up for a minute to the solar paint.
Sure.
I ask everything that I ever hear, I double check with ChatGPT. And on the average car, it would basically provide energy. This is your solar paint for 20% of everything. If you're an EV, if you have an electric vehicle, and depending on your location, because of your location on Earth with respect to the sun, if you lived in Stuttgart, Germany, and you had an EV, the solar paint would give you 62% of the energy that you needed to drive the vehicle. So that just knocks my socks off. I can't. I mean, I'm an older guy, and I have degrees in physics, and I get so excited when I find out about what technology has done. This is something you'd never dreamed about 25, 30 years ago. And the technology today, 62%. So you folks who are listening or watching in Stuttgart, consider a Mercedes and get the solar paint.
That idea is coming. I mean, you think about it.
Wow.
Every crazy thing that we have nowadays started as somebody just had a weird idea, and probably 90% of the people out there thought that's crazy, that's nuts, and never going to happen.
Now think
and
about
look what we've got now.
Think about now. You got me excited. I'm doing all the talking, and I'm listening. I told you Rick is smart, but I think now about. I have a thought process, and I say, "Oh, that would never work." I said, "Wait a minute," and I go to artificial intelligence. I go to, I happen to like ChatGPT, but there are a lot of sources out there, and if you can think of it today, if your mind will think of something that can be done, I believe the odds are in the 90 percentile that it can and will be done. So it's just exciting world we live in. Solar,
Yeah,
solar
yeah.
paint, amazing.
And Rick, before we move on, as far as the key fobs are concerned, or key fobs, is it still just as expensive? Well, let me put it this way: more expensive to go to a dealership and get that replaced.
It's well, a lot of key fobs are if you've lost all your keys, you really have to go to the dealership to have it done, because you have to have, in order for like a locksmith or somebody to make a second key fob for you, an aftermarket version, they have to have your original key fob to duplicate the code from it. But if you've lost all your keys, you're kind of stuck. You have to get your car to the dealership so that they can program new keys to it.
Is a dealer authorized by the manufacturer? And we're Toyota dealers, so if a customer came in with a Toyota they'd bought from our dealership and said, "I want to know the key code to my key," could we give them that?
No, because we're talking about a code number that really is it's electronic.
Yeah.
And even the passcode for it is approximately 256 characters, and some of them even more.
Yeah.
And now it's because obviously for security purposes.
For you listeners out there, that's an interesting subject to look into, because you own the car, you own the keys, and I think that the law would say that if you had to know something about your car, and you can prove you were you and you own the car, you should be able to have the key code. And who cares how long the key code is? You're gonna email it to Amazon, and you're gonna have them do the key for you with the program. So something to look into.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it'd be worth considering.
Yeah.
A lot of questions. Before we wrap this up, so you would say that it's compatibility as far as going into the dealership, which makes it a little easier to duplicate, but it's less expensive to go to a locksmith.
Right.
And
Especially if you still have at least one key, you can get it done a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I'm really fascinated with these prices because I'm going to go back to like the 80s and what it would cost me to replace, my key fob. So anyway, that's the interesting topic that Rick just covered, and now we are going to go to the phones.
Cool.
So we're going to interrupt Rick for a while, put him on pause, but he'll be back with so much more. We're going to go to Marty, and Marty is a regular caller from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. Glad everybody's back,
Oh, thank you.
and hope Earl's feeling better.
I am. Thank you.
Good. I've got a beef with Toyota that I know there's nothing you can do about it, but when people are buying cars for $40,000 and $50,000, and my 1 year just came up in February, and now if you want to keep your remote subscription on your phone, they want to charge you $25 a month. And I think it's ridiculous when you're spending all this money for cars that now you have to pay to keep the subscription up. At least you'll be included for 3 years, not one. But to me, it's very petty. And I know Toyota's in business to make money, but I think it's poor business.
I totally agree. I totally agree, Marty. And I have a lot of. I wear two hats. I have my Toyota hat, and I have my consumer hat. And you can't wear two hats at the same time. So this, or you can, but you look foolish. But that's why we have this show. But yeah, I don't like the way Toyota puts me on the front line and involves me in having to tell the customer that this particular part, for example, or this particular operation costs this much money. As a retailer, I can price my products any way I want to, but for them to pull a stunt like you're talking about, to give me something free for a year, and then say, okay, your free gift is expired. Now send me $500 if you want to keep it. And they've done that, and all the manufacturers are doing that. So if it's like a trick to get you to buy into a convenient remote or accessory or whatever it may be, and when you like it, and maybe you didn't even know you had to subscribe to it, suddenly it won't work anymore, and then you get the letter in the mail. Oh, if you'd like this, we'll only charge you $1,000 a month, or whatever. I exaggerated.
And remember a few years back, I think it was BMW that did this. They had heated seats in their cars. So when you purchased the car, the heated seats were it's actually a built-in feature of the car. But of course, because it's all connected through the internet to where the factory can talk to your car, they actually had it where after a certain amount of time, they would turn off the feature of the heated seats unless you paid a monthly subscription so that you could still use your heated seats. And when that came out and people found out about it, they went insane, and for good reason. And BMW very quickly said, no, okay, never mind. We're not doing that anymore. Your heated seats will work now just fine. Because I agree totally, especially the idea now, if it was something like OnStar or one of the other connected services where you push a button and you're talking to a live person, I can understand that because there's overhead. They have to pay for that person to have a connection, to talk to you, and have a live person there. But when it's simply a computer program that you already own everything in that car, and you're simply connecting to their computer database that they're not spending a doggone dime on, it keeps it's up and operational. Why should you have to pay a subscription to that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking that they're spending any extra money making new content that's going to be available on that. It's all there. They just want to charge you just because they can.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. That's ridiculous.
Everybody in the studio agrees with Rick. He's got a good point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
it was very simple. Let's say you forgot to lock your car door. Well, you could lock it with the phone.
Right. Yep.
And now, obviously, it's when you get to that screen now, it says your subscription expired.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
I mean,
that's annoying.
they've got these security, the door locks for your front door at your home that you can have your phone will lock and unlock your door for you from anywhere. And you can send keys to other people so they can come and gain access to your house. And they don't charge a subscription.
Right.
You buy the lock, you own it, you have access with your phone to that system, and you don't pay any more for it. It's a one-time cost. And that's the way a car should be. You should not have to pay a subscription to use features that are built into your car when it comes out of the factory. That's just my opinion, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah.
And what I do know, they can add $500 to the sticker and include it for the life of the car, and people won't realize it anyways. And when the car gets discounted or whatever the selling price is, it's in the price of the car.
Marty, thanks very much. I love it when people call and ask about misbehavior by Toyota, because I'm one of the few dealers that isn't afraid to say, you made a mistake, and this is not the way we should treat our customers. Marty, we got a bunch of people on the line now, so thanks again for the call.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Bye.
Marty. Thanks so much for calling. We look forward to hearing from you every Saturday. Thanks for bringing such a, interesting subject to the forefront. Ladies, how were you treated when you went into the dealership? Did you go in for service, lease a car, rent a car, purchase a new car? How were you treated by the salesperson we'd love to hear from you. And if you're a new caller this morning, you can win yourself $50. And we want to hear from you. And here's proof. You can win yourself $50. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Share your experience with us and the ladies that are listening. Help me build the platform. 877-960-9960. We're going to go back to the phones and we're going to talk to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning. Speaking of the key fobs, if you go to Costco, they got a truck out there. The truck does key fobs, and it's pretty reasonable. And this is why I call, except for European cars. So if you've got a Mercedes or BMW, you can't get the key fob. You know, that's dealership only. They can only service, you know, all the other brands, American and Japanese. And
Okay. So
Well,
you're saying the high-end luxury cars
That's great information. Great information.
they can't get they can't make the key fob for that person who has the high-end luxury car.
yeah, just the European cars, the European one,
Okay.
BMW, you know, whatever they are.
Okay. But they are making the basic key fob, right?
Yeah, they're replacing them or
Yeah.
making a copy.
Yeah. Like the
Making
push
copies.
start.
Right. Yes. You know, and all the key fobs.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Rick, has that have they been doing that for a while?
Apparently, this is something relatively new, but it's interesting that he mentions that because a little bit farther back in the chat here on YouTube, Kim Appreciates Life had said, avoid those key fob vans in the BJ's parking lot. They're a huge ripoff. And she says they prey upon the older folks here in South Florida. So I would use a little caution there. It sounds like Kim might have tried that one time and not
Interesting.
had such a good experience.
Yeah.
So
Hey, John, when did you see the
I needed to replace a key fob on our Mini Cooper, and I happened to see that orange key fob van thing in the parking lot at Costco. It's part of Costco's, it's part of Costco. And it's a mobile service, but they were there in the parking lot or whatever, and they said they couldn't do the European car. So I have no contact. That's the only contact I have with them. I didn't purchase anything, so I have no idea about the BJ's one. So I don't know. But once again, that's one of those. You got to be an informed buyer.
Yeah.
An informed shopper.
Exactly.
When coming to that stuff.
That's pretty important.
That's why this radio program is so important.
John,
Same
thanks so
thing
much
with
for the compliment.
And same thing with the Earl Underground Cowboy people. I forgot what it's called. It's been 2 months. And that. But as soon as I retire, I'm going to get on board with that. So.
Well, thank you very much. By the way, I just was playing around with ChatGPT, and remind us, Nancy and I both drive Teslas. Don't tell anybody because we're a Toyota dealership, but we both drive Teslas. And the key on the Tesla is on your smartphone. And so you can if you lose your smartphone, you just get another smartphone because it's programmed the key is programmed into your personal smartphone, and there is no such thing as a key fob. So it shows you how technology-wise, in a few years there won't be any more key fobs.
No, and that's correct. I have a Tesla also, and I have the little Tesla key card, that little model thing.
Yeah.
And that was a little pricey though, because it's more of a toy type thing. I think they run $180. But before you have your key access on your phone, you use that little credit card thing. And if you lose credit cards and replace them, those are $35. You have to purchase those.
Yeah, we purchased a couple of them.
Yeah, but fortunately, when we go to this is anyone wanting to buy a Tesla, when you go in, that's your window of opportunity. When you're picking up your new or used Tesla, ask them, I've got 3 other drivers in the family, can I get an extra key card? And they will give it to you, and they'll program it for you. After that, you have to buy it.
Well, that's very good information right there. Thank you.
Gets a little expensive, doesn't it, John, when you have so many drivers under the same roof?
Well,
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that with my daughter, they have the little restrictor that I can only set it to 65 miles an hour, and she can't go faster.
Well, that's good.
So, but it's like all those little features in that.
Well, thank you, John. And it's amazing how many people are driving Teslas down there. I just, being a Tesla owner, as we drive around, I don't know what the count is or percentage penetration is in South Florida, but there's a lot of Teslas out there.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's more like every 5 cars there's a Tesla. For every 5 cars you look at, on the road, there's a Tesla.
I doubt that.
Yeah, John.
That's 20% market penetration. That would be tops.
Yeah,
Look at Stu's got the
it
numbers.
could be locally.
Yeah.
In 33458.
Yeah, really. Oh boy, you're filled with all kind of
I'm
information.
filtering it down to the.
Hey, John, what's interesting that we have seen in the north end of town are the Cybertrucks. The Cybertrucks that are being used for commercial reasons. We have painters. We've got tile people, but they're in these Cybertrucks, and they have the advertisement painted on the Cybertruck. So I'll tell you what.
Boys with their toys.
Anyway, I thought
The
I'd share
macho
that
guy's
with
got
you.
the
The Cybertrucks are everywhere, but they're in our neighborhood, which restricts our movement. Thanks for the call, John.
There's no room on the road.
There's no room.
When you say in your neighborhood, are you talking about your dealership? Or where
No,
you
I'm
live?
talking about up in Jupiter, where we live.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and these commercial vehicles, Cybertrucks, are coming in, and they're working, construction and different jobs. But it's just recently that we've seen the Cybertrucks, and some of them are painted red. Some of them are painted like a crazy blue color, so that it's obvious, what they're driving, and it's also obvious that they're in there to make some money.
Yeah.
And they're
better.
getting a lot of attention. This is my point.
They need to.
They see you coming. Thanks, John.
If I was to send you a picture, where's the best place to send it?
If what?
If I were to send you a picture of my car, where is the best place to send it?
You could send it to me if you want.
Just send it to the
Stu,
text
or-
number.
Yeah, text it
Yeah,
to
you
her.
can send it to the 772-497-6530. That's a good idea, Rick, Stu.
Okay.
That's
All right. Thank you.
you got the number?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, John, great talking to you. Give us a call back again.
So glad you guys are back. Glad I'm back. All right.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. I'm finally accustomed to carrying my phone into the garage because each and every time in the beginning, to get into my Plaid, I said, oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, I forgot my phone because I was always, accustomed to
Well, let's
carrying
take
a key
Well,
phone.
now they have the option on the Apple Watch, so your Apple Watch now.
Yeah, you have a lot of options. Let me mention while we have a little lull as far as the calls are concerned. I haven't mentioned it before. For a couple of weeks, Earl's Vigilantes.
Yeah. we
I mean,
got,
heck, is there anything better than Earl's Vigilantes? And you can
Volunteers.
sign up, and you can help someone, in your neighborhood, and you don't have to know how to, take an engine apart or anything like that, right, Earl?
well, I can take an engine apart, but I just can't put it back together again.
You do that inside the house. You take it apart, I put it together, right?
That's right.
You dirty, I clean.
Right.
We're going to do a commercial. Remember that Swifter commercial? That was so cute,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I digress. Ladies, please give us a call this morning. I want to hear from you. 2 ladies, 2 new lady callers. You can win yourself $50 this morning. You can share with us your experience, whether it was, as I mentioned earlier, whether you're buying, leasing, servicing, whatever. And I think by now you know that there are more ladies in the dealership than there are guys, and in the service department especially, they're taking care of service. So ladies, you play a pretty big part in the auto industry, and for them not to recognize it, you know what I always say, financial disaster. Now back to, do you want to, Earl, do you have any anonymous feedbacks that you'd like to share, or is Stu going to take care of that?
I got them all here.
You got them all there? Okay.
Well,
So Rick will take a pause. There's no calls, Stu?
Oh, sure. Let's start with the longer one, just in case we get calls later. Anonymous feedback comes into youranonymousfeedback.com, and we have no way of knowing, no one has any way of knowing where they're coming from. So you send it to that youranonymousfeedback.com. It pops up into this website and our email boxes, and it's completely anonymous. All right, here it is. EV parts are going to be cheaper if you have access to cheap charging, but the insurance is still going to be higher than internal combustion cars. But the problem is the battery pack only can be charged up to a limited number of times, which usually works in a car for 8 to 12 years at best. And since the battery pack change is close to price for a full car, I just lost my spice. For a cool car, and in a used car case, it costs more than a car. Then basically the battery life is the car life. So since the car has a short life, it will lose its value fast. And if you factor in how much you lose if you sell it within the 4-year to 5-year time frame, then yeah, it isn't worth it. And this is just pure money on the pure money side of the problems. Don't get me wrong. There are cases where it is a good deal to get an EV. Like if you live in a city and your workplace or home has free or cheap charging, then yeah, go for it. But even then, I would only buy an EV as a second car. There's no way I would have only an EV. Very fair thoughts and well put.
Well, my feeling about that is I think this anonymous feedback is informed, but he's informed from a couple of years ago. And technology for charging, we just talked about earlier on the show that there's now solar paint. You can paint your car with solar paint, and depending on what area of the world you live in, it'll supply 83% of the energy for your car to go if you have an electric vehicle. So high-tech changes. Charging used to be the big problem, and destination security, or what do they call it?
Rain check.
Yeah. So if you research buying a car, an EV, 3 years ago, you better research it again, because that range anxiety is no longer a problem.
And another thing, just to consider, like, there's a lot of good points that he makes. There are obstacles as the technology is adopted. This is like an old, beaten comparison, but like when we switched from horses and buggies to cars, there were places where cars just made sense, and there were places where cars absolutely did not make sense.
Yeah.
That changed over time pretty rapidly, historically speaking, very rapidly. And it's kind of like that now. Yeah, if you live maybe in a remote area in Idaho or Wyoming, or even in the Northeast in upstate New York, yeah, maybe it's not ideal, but right now, yeah, it probably makes more sense in a metropolitan area. But that's changing every day. And the other thing is, I want to address, a lot of people come in with an argument against EVs on the economic side, on the cost. And I don't think anybody here is going to argue every single point. It is a more expensive technology that's coming down every day in price. In China, they got it down, and EV, it's less than a ICE, internal combustion.
Yeah, BYD is the largest seller of vehicles in China.
Yeah. They even have, I read there's, they have their version of Apple, their high-tech gadget company, has released an electric vehicle as well. And I read an article, why can't Apple do it if these guys can? Yeah. And the answer is the infrastructure in China, it's just set up to build millions of EVs. Do we have a caller?
BYD. Mm-hmm. It's in the news. We're going to go back to the phones.
Yep.
We're going to talk to Bob in Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Yo, Bob, are you there?
Yes.
Good morning,
back.
Bob.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I think I can cancel my prescription for Xanax now. After listening for over 20 years, you have withdrawal.
Well, what a nice thing to say.
I'm glad that we could serve as a replacement for that.
Yeah. Thanks so
I wanted
much,
to ask
Bob.
you, thank you. I wanted you haven't addressed the situation with the Cause Act. That was the biggest news since since you've been off the air. I guess they kiboshed it,
Yep.
and it's no longer going to be enacted. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Subaru. You were talking last week about Subarus and hybrids, and the Subaru really hasn't been involved in hybrid technology at all. They just recently started to produce some cars. I think they have 2 models that have a hybrid, but they're just starting to come to the dealerships now. So there's going to be a very low supply. So I would imagine if you went into a dealership and you were interested in that type of vehicle, you're going to be subjected to probably some type of market adjustment on it. And Toyota owns 21% of Subaru,
Yeah.
and I was wondering what you thought about maybe at some time Toyota maybe going and taking full control of that company, similar to what Honda and Nissan was proposing. It looks like there's going to be some kind of more consolidation in the industry.
Yeah, I guess that was. I don't know if that was. I mean, Earl would know better than me if it's industry wide, and I don't know the financial situation of Subaru if that would benefit them. I know Toyota's doing fine. Have you heard any whispers of that?
I don't think that will happen in the near future. I think it will happen probably with other
Eventually.
makes. Subaru is just a unique company in the fact that, as you say, Bob, they are small, but they are extremely well managed. And the fact that they don't have as many hybrids and other things that would really kill some manufacturers, Subaru does such a great job of quality and marketing and customer satisfaction that they would be considered an underdog in survival if there were any other company besides Subaru. But right now, I put my money on Subaru over a lot of other larger manufacturers that do have hybrids.
But I think you're dead on with as far as industry wide. You're going to see more consolidation. Otherwise, because the ones that are not going to be able to hang in the new economy, I guess they're going to have to be absorbed or.
Yeah, look at
go away.
Nissan with
Honda.
Honda just said, "Oh, oops, we changed our mind," and that's the way these mergers go. The stronger writes the deal. The stronger manufacturer. And Toyota, basically, you asked the original question was about Toyota buying other companies. Yeah, they'll buy them, but they'll buy them at the right price and for what they need. And the consolidation, if we have more than 3 or 4 auto manufacturers in 20 years, I'd be amazed.
Yeah, I'm sure they keep the brand though.
It was something that I read in Barron's.
Yeah.
They were talking about the possibility that Toyota at some point, since they already own 21%, may go ahead and have control of the whole company. So I thought it was interesting. What's your thoughts about this? What happened to the Cars Act?
To the what?
The Cars Act. The Cars.
Oh,
The FCC.
cars.
Yeah, the FTC rules.
Yeah, that was a
the
little
car, yeah, I'm sorry.
disappointing.
It wasn't a surprise, and as I say, as you probably know, Bob, because you're a regular listener, we signed up as a friend of the court and wrote an amicus, hired a law firm, our dealership did, and sent that in to support the Cars Act. So it just got shot down by the National Automobile Dealers Association and the Texas Dealers Association. It didn't surprise anybody. I mean, hope springs eternal in the human breast. So when they came up with it, we on the show always said, gosh, it sure would be great. But in the back of my mind, if the act had passed, we got enough laws on the book right now to keep car dealers honest and transparent. The problem isn't in a lack of laws and regs. The problem is in the lack of the enforcement of the laws and regulations we already have, and it's politics. Look at the new Attorney General for the United States. Pam Bondi is that who it is? Pam Bondi.
That's it.
Yeah, and
You got it.
And she before Donald Trump decided he wanted her for Attorney General of the United States, she had her hat in the ring to come back and be an Attorney General again in the state of Florida. So that
Yeah,
it's,
well, Ashley Moody is out too.
Well, she's a senator now.
yeah.
Right. So you I know you were telling people to call Ashley.
Yeah, don't
Moody.
call her anymore. You'll
You
never
can't
get through
call her
now.
anymore. I don't think well, I guess you could still call her, but I mean.
Oh, it's hard to get through to a
Yeah,
senator.
we were just looking for help on, what you're talking about, cars, and it turned a corner. What
We
can
just
I
wanted
say?
to help on a
That's
little
it.
issue. That's all.
That's
A
it.
little, honorable issue.
I get it. Okay, well, I'm glad you're back.
Thanks,
And,
Bob.
try to stay well, like the rest of us, and take one day at a time.
Yeah,
Don't overdo it.
I hear you.
Very
Okay,
true,
have a great
Bob.
day, everybody. Have a great day.
thank
Bob.
you. Thanks for the call. That partnership between Subaru and Toyota, that was a pretty good, move
Yeah.
on both parts because they collaborated on two different cars. I believe they were sports cars, or would that be an
Yeah,
accurate
they
statement?
respect each other, and they'll put their name on a car built by Subaru.
Yeah.
The Subaru will put their name on a car built by Toyota.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate respect
The-
of
the
another
Su-
company. Yeah.
Yeah, the Subaru, I believe, was the BRZ.
Yep. And then,
Yep.
And then the Toyota is the
86.
GR86.
86. Same car.
Oh, it is?
Oh, totally, yeah. And then there's other partnerships. The
Yeah,
Supra
so
was
a
made
lot of
in-
it mushroom.
with BMW and
Well, as a matter of fact,
Recently.
Toyota and BMW got together and made that, pardon, I'm going to say it, the travesty that they called a Supra.
Oh, boy.
That's a travesty to me.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
every minute
But-
of driving it.
Toyota and Subaru are talking about getting together for another
Supra.
Supra.
I'll do that one.
And that,
All-wheel
in
drive.
my opinion, will be a Supra.
Okay. It'll be
Yeah.
a Supra.
A Supra deserving of the name Supra.
It'll be a Supra deserving
You heard it right here,
to be a
folks.
Supra.
You heard
I think
it
they're
right
going to
here.
name it a better Supra.
Okay.
And it will be.
I'm going to interrupt everyone. We have, I'm going to talk to the ladies again. I'm waiting for you to call, ladies. 2 new lady callers. You can win yourself $50 today. Give us a call. Talk about whatever you want. Help me build the platform here. Call me at 860-9960. We're going to go to Frank, who's holding from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Frank. How are you today?
You still out there, Frank?
Yes,
There you are.
Mr. Stewart. I enjoy listening to your show every Saturday for the longest time, and I took some advice from you. And when I went to dealerships, and they tried to get me to pay $1,500 for dealer prep fees and $1,000 for other fees that were ridiculous. I just walked out of the showroom. But I saw an advertisement with Lincoln, Schumacher, and Del Rey that indicated that they were one of the vehicles I was looking at was Corsair. And they were advertising at $350 per month with no down payment. That was on Thursday evening. And Friday morning, I go down there at 10 o'clock, and they said that it's no longer that information was no longer available, or that deal was no longer available. I was disgusted, and I just said, "Okay, thank you, have a good day," and I walked out. But what was my recourse on that? I wasn't sure what I could have done.
Well, Frank, will you back up a little bit and tell me about your experience at our dealership? You said that you were charged $1,500 for what?
Yeah, well, I was looking at Infinity Q50 in Fort Lauderdale, and they offer and they're I asked them for their out the door price, and they included $1,500 for a dealer prep.
Oh, okay.
Another $1,000 for administrative fees.
I got you. So I misunderstood you. I thought you said you'd come into our dealership.
No, not yours. Not yours, Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, very good. Fees are, we call them junk fees because they are a hidden price increase, and it's the cancer of the auto industry. The car dealers all over the United States participate. So it's the dealership in Fort Lauderdale is just following the handbook that car dealers all have. Advertise the price lower than you or your competition would ever sell the car for, and then when the customer comes in, sneak in hidden fees to raise the price where you can sell the car, and that's been going on for 100 years in the retail car business, and it's coming close, we hope and pray, to a stop. But you were victimized, just like virtually every other car buyer.
What about the false advertising with Schumacher and Del Rey on that Corsair? They told me it was advertised that evening at 5 p.m. somewhere around there that the car was being leased for $350 a month, no down payment.
Yeah.
I even took a picture. I took a picture of it. Then I went to the dealership that morning, the following morning, and it said that deal is no longer available.
Yeah. It's South Florida is the worst of the worst in the way car dealers are transparent and honest. They are dishonest, they are non-transparent, and there is no regulation. And this show has been on the air for 20 years trying to get somebody to do something about it. We've talked and communicated with every attorney general from 20 years ago till today. So the laws are on the books to say what they are doing to you and all the other car buyers are illegal by Florida law. The problem is the Attorney General and the other enforcement agencies that are purportedly out there to defend you and other consumers, they are totally without value. They will not go to bat and enforce the law. And that's where they are. I'm amazed now that more people don't raise more hell about the way our regulators fail the consumers in South Florida and all over the United States for that matter.
Yeah, but Earl, I consider that false advertising, deceptive advertising, rather.
It is. It's false advertising. And in fact, this will really make you angry. The manufacturers are also breaking the law with false advertising. If you watch a television show or go online video, you'll see a car advertised for a certain lease payment, say $275 a month. And then at the bottom of the screen, almost invisible, will be a disclosure that says that's what $10,000 down. Now, the law says, the Federal Trade Commission says, the advertised price of a product, cars and everything else, has to be the price that you can buy that product for, adding only government fees such as sales tax and a license plate. That's the law, but the manufacturers are violating the law because the fine print is not readable. So when the federal government authorizes illegality, you're in serious trouble. I mean, they know what's going on.
That's why I took a picture of the advertisement on TV, so I could look it over.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see anywhere that they were going to charge me any money for or any down payment rather.
And Ron, I'm going to congratulate you. You sound like as if that you're an informed consumer. You were in full control. And, if there's something that's even more annoying to me, that is, the market adjustment fee. And they can slip that in very easily. It just depends on how much you need a vehicle. And, you could be charged anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. And that's just one of the other fees, that they don't talk about. And you got VIN etching fee. You got so many fees. You're covered up. You're confused. They're coming from all sides.
They played around with numbers. They threw so many numbers at me, and they try to confuse you. And
Yeah, they try to confuse you with advertising fees.
and then they put the pressure on you to purchase right away, or tell you you're not going to get a better deal, right? You have to buy it now.
Yeah. And we haven't even talked about the extended warranties. I mean, there is just so much that you can be hit with, and being an informed consumer, an informed consumer is, I'll tell you what, it's worth its weight in gold. Right, Rick?
Better than a consumed informer.
What insurance extended warranty do you recommend? Which one is the better?
The manufacturer, if you're going to buy an extended warranty, we don't recommend extended warranties on this show. It's a matter of personal choice. We don't say never buy one, but if you, for peace of mind, you want to have an extended warranty on your vehicle, you should go with the manufacturer's extended warranty. If you buy a Honda, they have one. If you buy a Chevrolet, they have one. So be sure before you pay the money, be sure you find out what that extended warranty does not cover as well as what it covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mechanic warned me. He says, get something that will cover the seals. And
Rick's giving you a thumbs up for that.
Yeah, we got to run now. We've got a bunch of calls on the line, and thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a good day.
It was nice talking to you too, Ron. Give us a call again. Our number here is 877-960-9960. You can text us at 772-497-6530. Stick around. We've got the Mystery Shopping Report. We've got Muffin. We've got a video to show you. We got all kind of stuff to get to. And ladies, I'm still waiting. $50. First two new lady callers. Give us a call. Talk about anything. Say hello. 877-960-9960. We're going to go to Ron in Boca. Good morning, Ron.
Yeah, hi. I'm a listener for a pretty long time, and I always hear Earl talk about his book, and I tried to locate it at a couple of different libraries. Is that available at your place of business, or is it available on Amazon?
It is available on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on
Am
Amazon.
Am I using the right title? Recovering?
Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. Earl, do you have your book right there?
Yeah.
We'll put it up on the screen right now. That's Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and you can go to Earl on Cars. You can get the book there. You can go to Amazon also, and 100% of the proceeds goes to Big Dog Ranch.
Yeah, that's why I want to get it, and I wasn't sure of the title. I've been walking around with it for years in my head.
Oh.
And, I'm going to a hospital for an operation. I said, this is a good book to get, and I tried to get it all week, and I couldn't get it. Okay, I will try to get it on Amazon.
Well, Frank, are you going to be in the dealership anytime soon? I can leave a book there for you before you go into the hospital.
No, I'm down in Boca. I'm not going up to West Palm. Yeah, well,
okay, understand.
But I appreciate it very much, that your show, and I appreciate the information you give the consumer, and I'm one of the consumers.
We really appreciate you, Ron.
In the hospital, Ron. I will say a prayer for you. I hope to hear you call in soon.
Okay. I'll be in there for about a week, they tell me. Okay.
God bless.
Take care. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to, I think we're going to go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning. I want to personally welcome Earl Stewart back. Thank God he's okay.
Thanks,
and I just have three powerful words: power of prayer. That's what I think it's all about.
Isn't that the truth, John? Wow.
Absolutely. If you remember, President Trump, when it was attempted assassination, and he turned to the side, he said himself, God save me. So I just want to thank him for coming back and being healthy and stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to also bring some more joy to today's show. A TV commercial, which is fabulous in my opinion. It's from my era, and it's about WeatherTech floor mats if anybody saw it. It has everything in there, a car of my era, a Lincoln four-door convertible Continental. In that ad, it has senior citizens. It has the stressing of no alcohol. They're drinking tea in the car. It shows the good times people were having when we had the convertibles. And it's just everything in it. It even has a scene, a part of Thelma and Louise, when they go airbound for a while. And it's really funny. It just reminds me of other good, some TV movies. One was Cousin Vinny. It's my favorite show.
Yeah.
And Thelma and Louise. But I just want to bring a little joy. And everybody didn't see that. They should watch this ad. And it's really funny.
That was the Super Bowl ad, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is no, this is for the WeatherTech floor mats.
Yeah, but I think they played it during the Super Bowl.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And you
can find it on YouTube. Anyone who wants to see what John's talking about, just search a WeatherTech ad on YouTube. It comes up. Yeah, the ladies are driving around in their old cars.
Yeah, what a great
they're doing
commercial.
donuts.
Which I'm one of.
I like the scene where the girl in the courtroom spins around and opens her blouse up, and the guy up on the witness chair grabs an oxygen thing and puts it over his mouth. Cracked me up.
John,
Well,
thanks
best
for
one
bringing
is
some warm and fuzzy. And
if I
we
ever
really,
got into trouble,
yeah, we
and
need a
I
lot of
needed
warm
legal-
and fuzzy right now.
Right. But I just want to say, if I ever had legal troubles and go back to my cousin Vinny, and I had a trial, I would love to have
Joe
your
Pesci.
mechanic well, representing me.
Oh, yeah.
Rick.
Rick would be up there talking about
wonderful
posse
on
traction.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought right away, this is the guy that I want on my side.
Honestly. Hey, John, have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No.
Oh, you got to watch that.
Okay.
Watch
All
that.
right.
I won't give away
Well-
anything. It's in line with Thelma and Louise and, my cousin Vinny. There's a lot of great.
Yes, I will. I'll look for it. All
Okay.
right, guys, and
Thanks for
welcome
calling, John.
back to Earl again. God bless you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you so much, John. Thanks for staying in touch with me and supporting me. I appreciate it. 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Frank, and Frank calls us from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning. And again, like last week, welcome back. It is so refreshing to hear you guys live on the radio.
Thank you so much.
I have a neighbor that drove over to the house the other day. He saw me on the street. And he had the neatest old Toyota truck. And I told him about your radio show and about maybe when his wife calls, she can earn $50.
Oh, thank you,
And
Joe.
she's just,
Thank you.
she's just too shy. She's just too shy. But anyway, and it's like from listening to your show, it has helped many shoppers and consumers, myself included, in buying a car. And it did save me money. And I also, I guess the big thing was the other day when I was getting that Lexus, the general manager or assistant general manager came out and I said, "Oh, okay, now you're coming out of the, now I can't remember what it was, the box." And he says, "How do you know that?" And I said, "From Earl Stewart." "Oh, you know Earl Stewart." They think the world of you. We met Vivian the other day. My wife and I were in there. And she just has accolades upon accolades about you and Nancy. And so it's really nice seeing happy people. And before, you talked about the Boxer and the Subaru, and I said, GR86, it's got a Boxer engine. Sounds like a Subaru. I didn't know you guys had mingled Toyota and stuff. So that was kind of interesting. They're hard to find. Your dealership didn't have one.
I love that you're going around talking about the box. People should do that. Like use the terms that pick up on the show. TOs, lay down.
Oh, yeah.
Going in the box.
Bell to bell.
Bell to bell, ding to dong.
On and on and on.
Busting bugs. Rolling iron.
A lot of times, just for entertainment, I go to different dealerships and mystery shop them in my little Frank's way of doing it, never thinking I'm actually going to buy the car. Unlike your Asian Lightning, actually ended up buying a car at the dealership. She was Mr. Light or mystery shopping.
Right.
And I felt the same. I felt the same way with the Lexus. I'm very, very happy we got it. But here's a question: the car insurance. Okay, I'm retired military, so I've been with USA for almost 40 years, or Geico. Everything is getting outrageously expensive. Someone said Costco had auto insurance. And I always forget to ask Costco on there, but I know you guys are very loyal Costco people. Do you know anything about any way of saving on auto insurance in this day and age?
I'll look it up, but I wouldn't be surprised when you walk out of Costco, you walk through like an aisle of Costco programs and things that you could do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I wouldn't be
like
surprised, but
running
I haven't heard of it.
Okay. Let's see. I guess that's about it. It's always a pleasure.
It's good hearing from you, Frank.
And again, wherever we go, Earl Stewart brings such a absolute, everyone has always positive things to say. So,
well, thank you.
Nice when someone
Well,
positive.
thanks for spreading the word.
You guys have a good weekend.
We
All right,
appreciate you. Thank you. Let me see. Want to get to Rick?
Just a real quick one here. Donovan says Costco Insurance is no longer in Florida. They left 2 years ago.
They're following all the other insurance companies.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Deserting us, all of them.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to go to Bill in Lake Worth. Good morning, Bill. How are you today? Thank you.
Nancy?
Thank you for calling, Bill.
Hi. Good to hear you all back. I had something I wanted to bring up with Earl.
Okay, go ahead, Earl.
You got a problem with Earl?
Yeah.
Earl, glad you're well. Hey,
Well,
I
thank
heard
you.
you mentioning about the key fob and how you should be able to get the code for that because you own the car.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking about something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I walk into your dealership with the proverbial briefcase full of cash, and I pay you cash money for a car, new or used, and I drive out and I own it free and clear, it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's my understanding in Florida you do not get the actual physical paper title to it, that the state holds that in Tallahassee. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, it had an effect
It is, but
a few years ago.
a long time ago. But you can get a paper copy. You can request one, get a physical.
Do you have to pay them for that?
I don't know.
Probably. I don't think the state does anything for you.
I don't really know, but it'd be a processing fee of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah.
It couldn't be much.
Yeah, not that the money's going to make me or break me, but it's just I'm just wondering if when you go to trade a car in at a dealership, if they charge you for that. Not that it's
No.
a chunk fee or anything,
They
but what I'm
don't.
wondering about is how much money that brings into the state.
A fee for duplicate titles? I think it's
Yeah,
$25. I mean, shoot, it's about $25. I'm thinking it would add up to a lot, I would imagine. I mean, you scale it up, millions, not millions, but thousands. I don't think it'd be like a huge revenue source, but they're making some money.
If you're thinking of, I'd have to be able to prove to you that I own it.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think usually
if
in the
I'm
course,
selling
and the reason I'm just saying, individually, you might run into a situation where that's, it's important. Just in our dealership, we're doing, 3,000 plus car sales a year. And it's really, that's kind of the way it's done now. It's like everything else is just, the title of ownership is just information. And that's, if all of the computers break down, we're all screwed. But right now, it's all, go ahead. Earl has something.
Yeah, Florida charges $2.50 for a paper title.
Duplicate title. Okay, yeah. Okay, I was wrong on the $25. Maybe that's because Janet's been lying to me all these years how expensive it was. You lost the title? That cost $25. You know how many titles I've lost? None.
So when the cars come from the manufacturer, how they send the title straight to Tallahassee, or how does that?
No,
work
new
when
cars
they
come
up
in. They're not titled yet because they're new. So they come in with a manufacturer statement of origin called an MSO,
Okay.
and that's also held securely, and it's electronic as well. But there are copies of MSOs. And then once it's titled, the dealership's title clerk will go through the process of with the state of titling it for you. Now you could get bogus junk fees that a dealership might charge you, saying that they're titling fees because they mark these up with private tag agency and all this other stuff. But the actual cost is negligible. The crime comes from the dealers, not the state.
Donovan on YouTube says that he just recently got a title from the DMV in Port St. Lucie, and he said it was $10, and he had to have his registration and identification.
Yep. There you go.
Huh.
But you know what? You could also buy a new car if the dealership, wants to. They might charge you the $10 or $20, but you could ask them for the paper title when you get a new car.
Yeah, the in-person fast title service is $10. Mail-in request is $2.50, and online request is $4.50. So that's more than anybody wants to know.
No, but
about.
it's thorough, and
that's ChatGPT knew that. I didn't know that was
ChatGPT. I know that was ChatGPT.
Yeah. ChatGPT. We've been talking about ChatGPT. Today's is Saturday, I think. Days
it's become a part of our lives. We just
but you and I,
if I woke up tomorrow morning and found out ChatGPT left town, I would be totally depressed.
I never used it before, but now this last month, it's just I'm addicted, and I'm speaking to her all the time.
Yeah,
I'd like to see your
I know
chat
you have
history.
other callers. I know you have other callers. I'll let you guys go.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks.
Glad you're all back.
Stay in touch. Thank you so much. We've got Jonathan. Do we have time to get to Stu and?
Yeah, man, I'll go fast because there's one thing I wanted to to bring up. It's time for the news. And did anybody hear the story of the guy? This happened in Utah. It was in December. It's still recent enough to call it news. A guy buys he goes to Sandy, Utah. He goes to this Mazda dealership, Tim Dolly Mazda, in Sandy, Utah, and he buys this car from the dealership. Several hours later, he changes his mind and he wants to bring it back. And he says that he returned to request his money back. This is hours after he took delivery. He returned the vehicle he had bought. However, staff advised Murray that he had bought the vehicle as is, and the vehicle cannot be returned in exchange for his money back. Murray told the manager that since they're not going to give him his money back, he was going to drive his vehicle through the front doors of the showroom. So the guy walked out of the building, got into his newly purchased vehicle, and he, true to his word, he drove it, smashed it through the thing.
No.
Salespeople were jumping out of the way, and then he gets out of the car. There's a video for it, and if you look up the story, it's insane. And it's something that, we've never worried about that, but I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
There's been movies. You remember A Cadillac Man with Robin Williams?
Oh, yeah.
That had nothing to do with a car sale, but still, the idea of dramatic scenes at a car
Another
dealership.
great movie.
Yeah. All right, why don't you get it? I know we have some texts coming in. Rick can get to those.
Rick.
You get
We
to
will pull up our text.
I put
thing
Rick
again.
on the spot. He wasn't ready. I have a computer this week. I mean, I could, but
Yeah, that's what's
I
different.
kind of like you doing it.
That's what's different. I was wondering what was sitting there.
Yeah,
You haven't had your computer.
I know.
Right now, the only one we got in is from Debbie in West Palm Beach, and she says, "Welcome back, guys. Good to hear you all."
Oh, I think we got one from
thank you,
Anne Marie.
Debbie.
Yeah, we actually read Anne Marie's earlier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did you give her a good
We
answer?
were a little ahead of you there.
Did you?
Yeah,
What was the
it
answer?
was a lot of information about key fobs
Yeah.
and getting key fobs
They're pretty
duplicated.
much, the last batch was late last year, I think. Mm-hmm. All right, good. All right, Anne-Marie, you're good. Let's go to another anonymous feedback. This one came in from Bob Green. I'm just kidding. We don't know who it came from. Every tire should be dated, just like an invoice or a bill or a carton of milk. That was me. No encrypted codes, just the date like we're used to seeing. Yeah, and they're referring to the fact that to read the manufacturer date of a tire, it's a long series of numbers, and it's not a standard date format that anybody would recognize. So
Yep.
you have to learn how to interpret it, and if you ever want to, you call in Rick and tell you again, because we keep telling people, and it's not easy to remember.
Well, it's actually a pretty simple setup. It's what you're looking for, the last 4 digits, and you really don't even need to worry about the first 2 of the pair, because that's the number of the week of the year.
Okay.
So the higher the number, the
Closer to
later
the
in
end
the
of the
year.
year. Right.
But those last 2 digits,
Is the year.
that's the last 2 digits of the year that tire was made. So pretty much that's the main ones you're looking for.
Yeah.
If it says 19, that tire was made in 2019.
Okay.
says 24.
See,
the
I-
tire was made in 2024.
This is a test of my memory. Let's bring it up again in a couple of weeks
Yeah.
and see if I remember it, because
Well,
that's really easy.
The government employee that came up with that has a diseased mind.
Probably just got
Why does
fired.
it have to be so
Probably is
complicated?
unemployed now.
Well, I think part of the reason why they did this way is to try to keep things uniform. And the main reason being, if you think about it,
internationally, globally.
well, if you think about the way we here in America will write a date.
Yeah, it's done differently in UK. It's done differently
Yeah,
in
like
Japan.
today is 0301 2025. Whereas in Europe, it would be 0103 2025.
How many digits is that whole number, though?
The whole whole series can be up to 8 or 10 numbers.
Okay, they could put every date format in a
Right,
row.
because that actual DOT
There's space for that.
identifies the manufacturer of the tire and even has information for which plant it was made in.
Yeah.
And then has just those last
Rick,
four.
I'm going to cut you off because I just dozed off.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next anonymous feedback.
Well, yeah, but listen, before we do that, I have to get in my comment. Nancy and I talk about it every time we come into the studio for the radio show, and that is autonomous driving. And I'm a test pilot, and Nancy is also a test pilot because we each have, Teslas that we drive. So it's hard to explain if you're interested in autonomy in a car. If the feeling that you have when you are
A guinea pig.
Yeah, you're a guinea pig.
That's me. I'm in the front seat of the Cybertruck, passenger side, guinea pig.
Now think about this. Here's why I love our autonomous Teslas. They do things safer and than I do. Things that I'm
Most
incapable
of the time.
Things I'm incapable of doing. They see better than I do. They hear better than I do, and. Now, file that away in your mind. Stu just raised his hand.
I have a question, though.
Okay, the other side of this long sentence I'm making is the fact that it also does some crazy things. So when you drive it and you like it, you have to say,
Part of it.
you are different than I am as a driver, and the good things you do, Mr. Autonomous, outweigh the bad things. It's hard to accept that.
It's like what I do when my wife drives.
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, but this will drive away or to terrify any drivers out there that are thinking about buying an autonomous car. We came to the studio this morning.
It's about the tape in the driveway.
No.
The blocked off driveway area?
No.
Okay.
The two cones that were.
Yeah, they're cone and there's tape.
Yeah. So it was totally confused by the two cones, and then drove over to another street and proceeded the wrong way on a one-way street.
On the other side of the
Yeah. So it did something yesterday too that was crazy, but it also does some things that you think about. I wouldn't have known that child was there. It'll see.
I know.
It'll see a child behind your car that you could not see in the rearview mirror. You could not see the backup camera.
You're saving lives.
Yeah, and you're saving lives.
There's a lot of good points with
It has
what
8
you're
cameras,
talking about.
8 cameras. It knows
When
all
I
the
pulled
things
into
all.
the studio late today,
Yeah.
the normal driveway is blocked off with these cones. And the first thing I thought of, because I looked over, I could see the parking lot. I saw you guys were there. I'm like, I wonder how self-driving handled this cone thing. I did what it did. I went into the oncoming wrong way just because I wanted to get in. So I did the same thing I think your Cybertruck did.
What was the only way to get in?
Either that or to totally reroute. And
how smart is a Cybertruck? You're very smart. You're a good driver. So the Cybertruck did exactly what you did.
We chose the exact path, same path.
Hey, Earl, have you seen the video of a Tesla that's going through a cemetery? And the camera shows there's nobody visible, but on the TV screen for the car, it's picking up people on the side of the road.
Yeah, I'm sure that's real.
I'm just saying. Maybe they're smarter than we are.
Oh, it's picking up ghosts?
It's actually showing
like spirits?
Figures like there are people on the road, but when the camera looks up...
I'm going to put you on Front Street right now, Rick. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Okay.
That's what I used to do when I was in high school.
Throw a little balls at me.
Hey, interesting information, Rick. sorry to rush you, but we have got to get to Muffin. And you know who Muffin is. That is a terrier, and it's a, mixed terrier. And let me say a few things about Big Dog Ranch, where Muffin is staying and has been out there for a while. And that is that Big Dog Ranch is the largest cage-free, no-kill dog rescue organization in the United States. Weather's beautiful. You should go out and take a walk around. They were founded back in, I think it was 2008, and they had to have rescued over maybe 75,000 dogs. And just recently, they just brought in, I think it was from Missouri, you were listening to the same thing, and they got these Yorkies that they brought in. And, of course, they're mixed, and it was so, enlightening. They were so cute. They had them on TV, and, my point is that, they need to be rehomed, and they need someone to adopt them. They need to find a loving and safe forever home. So with all of that said, as I said, the weather's great, a great time to go out there, to take a walk around, go to Puppyland, my favorite place, and they've got the veterinarians out there. They've got so much that they use to take care of these poor dogs that they, come in contact with from China, Puerto Rico. I could just name a dozen different locations that these dogs come from, and they're not in great shape, let me put it to you that way. And Big Dog Ranch gets them up and running around and healthy again. So we're going to show you a video of Muffin. And Muffin has some restrictions. She prefers to be the only animal in the house, first of all. And she doesn't like cats. And she likes to cuddle. And she's good on a leash. And she's a high energy, as you can imagine. She's 47 pounds, 3 years old, and she's a terrier mix male. And she's right there at Big Dog Ranch. He is right there at Big Dog Ranch for you to take a look at. Okay, Jonathan, want to roll that tape? Thank you.
How you guys doing? I'm Joseph. I've been working here at Big Dog Ranch for the past 8 months, and this is Muffin, who's been here twice as long as me for about a year and a half now, a little bit over. He is a very sweet dog, very timid and calm and relaxed. He came here with a shattered arm. We had it surgically removed, obviously, and he's been doing great ever since. He loves to cuddle, loves to lay down, loves to play, and sunbathe. Right, Muffin? Yeah.
There you have it. And let me mention Earl's book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and that you can go to Amazon, you can go to Earl on Cars and purchase the book. It really has a lot of information in it that you can use anytime, all the time. Next year, it doesn't matter. And when was the book
first published?
When was it first published?
2012.
2012. So,
it's
my point is at the book, put it up on the shelf. You can have it forever. It is just so much information.
What do you think about Muffin? Look, I mean,
he is really cute.
He's a tripod. He's got missing a leg, but very cute. Needs a special home. She's very sweet. But I know they said the cats might be a problem. I think maybe with the missing a leg, maybe it's not a problem. I mean, cats are pretty quick. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Or maybe the cat was the reason he's only got 3 legs. So
that's possible.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But anyway, yeah, if you go adopt Muffin or any of our other sponsored dogs, we pay the adoption fees, and that gets up there a little bit sometimes. We're just trying to remove barriers and make it easier to adopt dogs. So like Nancy said, go out there and visit. It's a wonderful place. They love having visitors. You can get a little tour and see Puppy Town, and it's really cool what they have going on out there. It's an entire setup just to get dogs in there, get them healthy, and get them homes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't mention earlier that Muffin has a microchip, and also the adoption fee has been reduced to $225. And there's just all the reason in the world to go out and take a look at Muffin's face. Isn't he cute?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a little doll.
He's a kisser.
Okay, we are going to get to our mystery shopping report, and let me share with you the text number where you can vote on the mystery shopping report at 772-497-6530. And also you can go to a good dealer, bad dealer list.com and just, check out what is available out there for you. Okay, that mystery shopping report is from Napleton Jeep.
Napleton Jeep. We're just these are all new. These haven't been aired before. We're just a few weeks behind when we were off the air, but we kept doing the mystery shops, and so I think we still have a couple more to go.
That's good.
So this is only a few weeks old, so it's still very relevant. This actually was done on the 13th of January, so about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, so you want to stay tuned for the mystery shopping report from Napleton Jeep. And Agent Lightning did a great job again. And as I said earlier, 772-497-6530. You can cast your vote there on the mystery shopping report, which is Napleton Jeep. Okay, Mr. Recovering Car Dealer, what do you have for us?
Well, as our regular listeners know, Napleton is one of the most, what's the word?
Notorious.
You can't say that on the air.
Notorious.
Yeah, Jonathan's using bad language.
He's so bad that he's actually have attorney general offices after him. He's paid fines, but nothing phases him. And he's probably got 50 dealerships in the country. And so if he has to pay $1 million fine, that's chump change.
He doesn't have to worry anymore. He doesn't have to worry anymore because I'm sure he's.
So I just want to give you this heads up.
Good point.
A lot of the dealerships are in Florida, but he's around the whole United States. I'm the read this mystery shopping report of Napleton Jeep, and in the first person is if I were Agent Lightning, the actual mystery shopper. I arrived around lunchtime and walked around the lot looking at the Jeep Wranglers before heading inside. No one approached me, so I went to the front desk. A young lady greeted me with a smile, welcomed me. I said, I'd like to talk to someone for more information on the Jeep 4XES.
I think 4XEs.
4XEs, yeah, 4XES. 4XEs, okay. She immediately picked up her phone and paged for any available salesperson to come to the front. A few minutes later, a salesman came over, extended his hand, introduced himself as Joe. Where is this, Stu? Where is this Napleton Jeep? What,
on North Lake Boulevard.
North Lake, okay, yeah. Because he's got so many cars,
yeah.
Car stores, I wasn't sure. And I showed him the Jeep I'd been looking at online and mentioned that I saw it discounted. He stopped me right away and said, I want to explain that the online pricing shows every available rebate combined. Now, this is unusual. I'll just give you a thing that they would say that. You might not qualify for all of them. Are you still interested? Now, I digress a bit from the actual reading of the report, but the thought occurred to me that somehow word may have trickled down to the sales forces that Napleton had been fined by the Florida Attorney General, about the only dealership that's ever been fined, I think, by the Attorney General. And in some other states, Napleton is so bad in the way he treats his customers around the country that if you see a dealer that's being actually reprimanded by a government agency, it's probably Napleton. I mean, that's how bad he is. At any rate, this disclosure about the online pricing and what's included and what's not, I think might have been actually covered by a manager somewhere. Because the same thing happens at every other dealership we mystery shop, and they don't ever mention that. Back to reading the report, I replied, yes, I'd like to see the pricing. He asked, would you like me to get the keys? Yes, I said. Joe returned a few minutes later and asked me to follow him to the Wrangler. He mentioned that there were boxes in the back and wasn't sure if they were for this particular Jeep or if they were just being stored there. He offered to remove them if I wanted to see the back seats, but I told him I already knew what they looked like. I was more interested in the 4xe aspect. The seats could stay folded for now. We went for a short test drive on the back roads of North Lake Boulevard. Once we returned to the dealership, Joe suggested showing me a regular Jeep as well for comparison. He grabbed the keys for a model with a power roof that slid all the way back. This one was not a 4xe and pointed out the differences between the two. Then we went inside to his desk so he could speak with one of his managers and get me pricing on both models. I waited about 12 to 15 minutes. A big Instacart order popped up for me. I asked,
I want to interject here because that might be confusing.
Yeah.
Agent Lightning also does some work as an Instacart shopper, and so she got a notification that there was something important for her to get. There's a job waiting for her, so now the clock's ticking.
Yeah, well, very good. I read that. The thought never occurred to me, but thank you. I didn't know she was doing this with Instacart.
Yeah.
He said they're a bit busy, but it should be soon. I didn't see many people around, but I waited another 8 minutes. Then I went over to him again, asked if it was almost ready. He said he believed so. I told him, I have to run to do this order, but I'll be back in about 30 or 40 minutes. Can you have it ready for me then? He said, sure. So I left. About 40 minutes later, I returned to find Joe still sitting at his desk. He apologized, admitted he still didn't have the numbers. He said he checked with his sales manager. When he came back, he asked,
Yeah, you're good.
When he came back, he asked, when will you be able to come back for, say, another hour or two? We could get this done. Now, this is all kind of silly, and one of the reasons I'm chuckling and Stu's chuckling is that we're imagining what would happen if they did that at our dealership, to actually have a customer leave, promise you they'll be back shortly, and the simple question they ask, you hadn't done a damn thing about it. So this isn't about transparency or honesty, it's about poor salesmanship. So we sometimes get emotionally involved with that.
I replied, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I replied, I'm not coming back to sit for another hour or two waiting for a price. I've already been here for an hour, left for 40 minutes, and all I want is the pricing on the two Jeeps that I'm interested in. He said he understood and went to talk to a sales manager. I overheard him say, she's back.
At least he didn't say it like, she's back.
Yeah, and as I say, we're reacting as car dealers, so we're...
Yeah, sorry. This ain't funny at all.
It's not funny for business. Whether you're buying tires or TV sets or houses, this is not salesmanship, folks. You don't treat customers this way. After a few more minutes, I walked to the sales manager's area and asked if this was going to take much longer. I said I was happy to go elsewhere if I couldn't get a quick price. They insisted they were working on it. That's a lot of work to give you a price on the car. The price is on the window shield or the window.
It's like they're mining Bitcoin for the price.
Then a sales manager named Marcos came out. Marcos said, the price will be whatever the internet price is plus sales tax. Mm-hmm. Whoa. I mean, imagine that. The price that you advertise is really the price that I pay? Okay, we'll see. I stopped him and said, your salesperson told me the internet price may vary, and it could be anywhere between the internet price and MSRP, depending on which discounts I qualify for. Okay, Marcos then told me he'd only been here for 4 months in the sales manager's position, but as far as he knew, the price was the internet price plus sales tax. The dealer fee, okay, here we go, and new plates. Sounds like this guy, this new manager, Marcos, thought the dealer fee was a government fee.
He might.
A legitimate fee. And,
that's the most charitable way of looking at
this.
Yeah,
and he, he added that he would talk to a sales associate. He then asked if I knew the difference between the two Jeeps. I replied, yes. One is a 4XE and the other is a regular.
I still don't know the difference between these two Jeeps.
The 4XE
is a hybrid, I think.
Is a plug-in hybrid.
Electric, hybrid, and regular.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know the difference in the doors? I said, what do you mean? Come with me. Let me show you.
By the way, real quick, that sounds innocuous right now. What he's doing, this is in sales technique. This is called slowing down the customer, getting the focus off the price and back on the product.
Yeah, slow them down. Don't let them leave.
Yeah.
So we walked back out to the Jeep so we could point out the boxes in the back. I already knew about them. I said, so these are the half doors Joe wasn't sure about. Marcos confirmed, yes. I was a bit annoyed at that point. Said, so there's no real difference in the doors other than the 4XE comes with an extra set of half doors, which I was already interested in. Marcos asked for my phone number to text over the pricing sheets. I asked him to email them to me instead, since I need to print them out and look them over. He agreed and said he'd do a full breakdown and understood that I was in a hurry, and I left. Eventually, I received an email attachment that just included some handwritten numbers at the bottom, no full breakdown. Needless to say, I wasn't thrilled.
They're on the. He took their printouts of the Monroney label that they hand wrote on one. So for the non-XSE, the one that we're looking at, it just says 51,675 plus, and then underneath that the total amount out the door 57,092. And without getting into the details, it's pretty easy to see that clearly they have about $1,000 dealer fee in there, and they have some other ones in there because sales tax on $51,000 is around $3,000. So there's some other stuff in there, and I didn't do the math. I can just look at it and tell you that it's a lot. And then the other one was the same thing. Was it for the XS or for the XSE one, and that was 54,000 plus. $6,000 later, you're out the door at $60,046. So that's the shop.
Yeah, there it goes, folks. And well, I say mainly for our new listeners, this is we grade on the curve, and this is not considered an atrociously bad report when you consider the competition and other car dealers, especially South Florida. So we grade on the curve. If you're going to vote, we don't like to see too many A's or too many F's because it kind of distorts the reality of the way cars are being sold all over the country.
Yeah. If we give them an A, we're really excited and happy.
Yeah, and we have had A's, Yeah.
So
we are, we're voting, on these mystery shopper reports. I feel we're being very fair. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to hear from you. How about how you feel about this mystery shopper report? You want to vote? Go to 772-497-6530. Rick?
Well, let's see. We got Frank here first from Jupiter Farms. He says, as soon as I heard Napleton, I immediately cringed.
I thought I immediately fainted.
I think Frank probably intended that as an F. Bob in Maryland says, it could have been a good grade, but my online grading system doesn't qualify for any of the rebates.
Oh, my God.
So it's an F. And let's see, here we go over on the YouTube channel. Donovan says, that's a complete waste of time. F.
Yeah.
Tim Gilliland says, customer service at its worst. Adios, goodbye, farewell, F. Johnny Z. Fradley says, I tried to give a D minus, but my finger would only press F. Neo Shazam says D minus. They eventually gave a price, overpriced, and really took their time to give it. Brian said, Latko, can you wait an hour for my vote? F. Mark H. D minus. Dazed and confused. Trying to wear the customer down when you can come back and sit for 2 hours. Mark Smith says D minus. No way, Napleton. And for me, I'm going to say D minus. They're not quite as egregious, nasty like we've seen in the past. They may have learned a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe they're just falling apart and slipping. So,
before you get, have you given your final? Because we had a couple more influence you. Roadrunner Steve says, I was in a good mood today. I give a C. Beep, beep. He's in a real good mood. And then Jonathan and Palm Coast popped in. This dealership gets a well-deserved F. I call him as I hear him.
Nice.
Who are you? You're doing a D?
Yeah.
A D for you.
Yep.
The best thing that happened in the shopping report was when the salesperson alluded to the way they handle the rebates and the pricing. And like my dad said, I think that's probably because either that salesperson didn't want to go down with them. Hey, I told him about it. Or maybe it's a directive from management. I don't know. So that was nice. The rest of it, what like everybody says, was a complete waste of time for Agent Lightning. Anybody else who was a real buyer, I don't think would have given him that much time. It certainly wouldn't have left, come back, offer. This crazy, and it's as bad as it gets. I think. I mean, it doesn't have a giant markup label. It doesn't have some of the most like the fireworks of it. But this lazy, and I'm sorry, guys, it was a lazy sale right there. What you guys were doing, and it was bad for the customer. And then you throw in all your other junk. You get a D from me.
And we just got a few more. My second channel here was lagging a little, but Negan1 says F. Seems like not giving a number breakdown so they won't get in trouble. Tom Steckel says F. Quintessential Napleton. No disclosure of junk fees and inability to provide a quick price. Totally unacceptable. T. Cash says, with everything I hear about Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Stellantis these days, I would guess nobody qualifies for the loyal customer discounts. F. Joseph Kelleher, D-, grading on the curve. And Mark Smith says, I give him a D-. No way, Napleton. And Guy Larrabee says, nothing ever changes at Napleton. A big fat F.
All right. Established 1937.
Yep.
Here's a little tidbit while you guys are reading out the reports on the votes. I mean, I went to ChatGPT, my new twin brother. I've adopted him. And I asked ChatGPT, is Ed Napleton regarded as an honest and transparent dealer? I haven't got time on the air to read everything here.
Oh, they're kind of wordy sometimes.
I'll take you down to the conclusion, which is, let's see here. While some customers have had positive experiences with Ed Napleton dealership, there have been significant legal challenges and customer complaints related to their business practices. Prospective buyers are advised to conduct thorough research and exercise due diligence when considering transactions with this dealership group.
There's a State Department warning for Ed Napleton.
So you would have never gotten this on Google, and I know I sound like I'm a stockholder and ChatGPT. I wish I was, but I'm not. But seriously, folks, ChatGPT is the new Google and the better Google. And there are others. This happens to be the leading artificial intelligence source of information. But before you do anything, before you buy a box of Cheerios, before you buy insurance, before you buy a car, go to ChatGPT, and they will give you the facts. So we got some votes.
Well, we need Nancy's grade and we need your grade.
Oh, that's right.
Earl.
It's a Napleton store. I have to give it a C-.
Ooh, generous.
Well,
But it's South Florida.
congratulations to you.
Hey, I kind of want to say real quick before you grade this one. This will not influence you at all. I did Google the same thing. Is Napleton considered an honest car dealership? Still pretty good results. It doesn't concern. But the first thing is watch out for Napleton. It's on Reddit, and then horrible experience. FTC takes action. BBB complaints. Auto dealer at Napleton fined $10 million. So all the results are pretty bad. But
Very much so.
Yeah.
I don't know, where do I begin? I'll make this brief. I give him an F, and I just want to alert the audience that, under destination fee, a market adjustment fee, VIN etching, and you can look for this one also. dazed and confused fee. That's right there on that list. So that just tells you something about this mystery shopping report. So unnecessary. So unnecessary, with the environment the way it is now, and how difficult it is out there. I don't think there's anything that Napleton will say or do that would appease me, would calm me down. They have so much making up to do for their ridiculous way of selling to the consumer, taking advantage of them, hijacking them in a dealership. So I digress.
Mm-hmm. Almost makes me want to take out my mugshot of Napleton that I have in my favorite pictures.
Oh, that's in the post office. You haven't been in the post office.
That's probably hitting below the belt, but
It's fun.
He was arrested and booked for a DUI, but
He's a big boy, and he played his game, and this is called punching up.
yeah,
He's a billionaire. Come on.
yeah.
There you go.
All righty.
Okay.
Where do we
Is
go
that a
from
show? Are we done?
Jonathan,
We have 4 minutes.
we've got 4 minutes left.
Really?
What would you like to? Let's take the automotive news. Want to take you and I spent some time on that this morning.
Well, I'm proud of automotive news because they, if you've been a listener to this show Earl on Cars for a long time, you know that they always took the dealer side, that everything was strictly biased, and it takes a lot of courage. The advertisements and the subscriptions to automotive news are by car dealers mainly and all auto manufacturers. So the editorial slant now to the automotive news is actually in favor of the consumer. And they're basically saying that, if car dealers don't get their act together and start treating the 21st century consumer properly, you're going to cease to exist a lot sooner than probably will happen anyway. And I think automotive news is maybe looking selfishly at themselves because there ain't going to be no automotive news if there are no automobile dealers. And the way things are tracking right now, you're going to have Amazon and you're going to be buying vehicles online, and the car dealers will cease to exist as we know them today. And since I've been a car dealer since 1968, that saddens me. I mean, that's my whole life pretty much.
Yeah.
It's been what I'm doing as a car dealer.
It is disappointing. Thank you for your response. And I can see by the clock that we are out of time. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. We so enjoy your company. Stay tuned next week, same time, right here on the Oldies channel. Earl on Cars. Have a wonderful weekend.